In the cover of darkness, 3 poachers set out on a dangerous expedition, driven by the insatiable demand for ivory, rhino horns, and other exotic wildlife products in the Far East. They stepped deeper into the night, armed with powerful hunting rifles, fingers on the trigger, ready to fire at the sight of game. Suddenly, the serene silence of the night shatters with a bone-chilling scream, piercing the air. One of the men is under attack. Panic ensues, adrenaline pumps, and fear takes over. The remaining 2 men abandon their weapons, turn tail, and flee in the opposite direction. The roles have reversed. They had come to hunt, but ended up becoming the hunted. The events of that night at the Umbabat Game Reserve serves as a stark reminder that, in the vast expanse of the wild, the line between the hunter and the hunted is as fragile as a strand of spider silk, wavering in the wind. Surviving in a poor village such as Mavudza, a remote rural enclave situated in the southern African nation of Mozambique, presents undeniable challenges. This tight-knit community grapples with limited access to education, healthcare, and employment opportunities. Consequently, the resilient villagers turn to agriculture as their main source of livelihood. However, some locals are prepared to take a gamble, delving into the illicit wildlife trade. Poaching is the illicit act of killing or capturing wild animals, typically with the intention of trafficking their body parts on the black market. Among the numerous endangered species threatened by poaching are elephants, rhinoceroses, lions, and pangolins. You may be familiar with the ivory trade, wherein elephants are slaughtered to obtain their tusks for crafting jewelry and other decorative items. It's worth noting that rhinoceroses are also targeted for their horns, which are believed to possess medicinal qualities in certain Asian cultures. In fact, rhino horns command a higher price on the black market than gold, illicit substance, and arms trading. One rhino horn can be purchased in Asia for an unbelievable amount of money, well over $300,000. In Africa, these horns are valued at about $65,000 per kilogram, with the typical rhino horn weighing between 1.5 and 3.0 kilograms. The majority of people in the world are aware of this fact, especially in rural areas close to game reserves. Successfully harvesting and selling just one rhino horn could provide them with sufficient resources to support themselves and their families until their next expedition. And so, in February 2018, under the cover of darkness, 3 individuals embarked on a mission to hunt game. Among them was David Baloyi, while the identities of the other 2 remain unknown. Trekking from Mavudza, Mozambique, they journeyed to South Africa's Limpopo province. Their destination was the Umbabat Game Reserve, situated near Kruger National Park. Equipped with 2 Winchester rifles and flashlights, they trespassed through the perimeter fence into the premises. Everything seemed to be going as planned. However, they had overlooked a critical aspect of poaching, a decision that would ultimately have fatal consequences. While others admire the moon's enchanting beauty and enigmatic presence in the night skies, rangers and anti-poaching units persistently patrol game reserves, safeguarding rhinos, elephants, and other endangered animals from the menace of poachers. shining in its complete brilliance for up to 3 consecutive nights. The full moon grants poachers the opportunity to operate and engage in hunting during the nighttime, all without the need for artificial lighting that will announce their presence to the vigilant rangers and anti-poaching teams. For this reason, poachers conducted their activities in the days preceding, during, and after the full moon. However, this predictable routine had become apparent to the South African military, prompting them to implement heightened security measures during this time frame. But on this particular night, David and his companions decided not to hunt under the illumination of the full moon, but instead chose the cover of darkness. A costly mistake, they soon realized. To minimize the risk of being detected by vigilant rangers, Baloyi and his 2 companions could only use their flashlights for brief moments. Consequently, they had to cautiously navigate through the rough terrain, progressing 1 step at a time, essentially taking a leap into the dark, rugged expanse of the game reserve. While authorities had implemented a shoot-to-kill policy against poachers, there were even more dangerous threats lurking in the obscure shadows of the night. The African lion's hunting prowess is a breathtaking display of nature's design. Their predatory instinct, teamwork, and cunning nature position them as the undisputed kings of the jungle. Their ability to seamlessly blend into their environment, coupled with their patience, allows them to get as close as possible to their prey before launching an attack. They are responsible for about 250 human fatalities per year. In bursts of energy, they can reach speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. Equipped with powerful jaws and razor-sharp teeth, they can deliver a fatal bite to their intended target. It is a well-known fact that lions are capable of subduing large herbivores such as zebras, wildebeests, even buffalo. Lions exhibit remarkable hunting skills during the day, and after sundown, they're even better. Like many other nocturnal animals, lions have a specialized layer behind their retinas called the tapetum lucidum. This layer reflects light back through the retina, enhancing their ability to see in low light. It is what causes the eyeshine effect in many animals. As the men advanced deeper into the darkness, with David leading the way, the other 2 men were immediately thrown into a frenzied panic when David suddenly began to scream, desperately calling out for help. The 2 men behind him must have switched on their torches and aimed them in David's direction to see what was going on. As soon as they realized what was happening, they turned around and ran the other way, leaving their guns behind. They may not have noticed that they had walked into the pride of lions. They had become easy prey, and in a sudden turn of events, the hunters had become the hunted. The lions attacked David from all directions, pouncing on him with their powerful jaws and claws. They tore him apart with their teeth and ripped him to shreds with their nails. They did not give him a chance to fight back. As the 2 guys fled the scene, scrambling back towards the perimeter fence, in the darkness, David's cries for help gradually dwindled into the distance as the echoing roars of the lions, tearing flesh, filled the air. They successfully made their way out on the opposite side of the fence and crossed the border, back to Mozambique, where they recounted their harrowing experience to David's family. Meanwhile, authorities also heard David's cries for help and went out to investigate the sounds. However, it was only at sunrise that they found what was left of David. The lions had devoured his entire body, sparing only his head. By noon, the news had spread across the radio, reporting an unidentified individual mauled by lions, after which they appealed for anyone with information for identification to come forward. After hearing the news on radio, David's sister-in-law went to the police station and was escorted to the mortuary, where she identified the head as David's, which sadly was in a grievous state. Without doubt, the sight would have been a traumatizing one for her, likewise everyone who responded to the incident. And even though the other 2 guys were lucky enough to get out alive, this incident should serve as a grim reminder that in the wild, the line between the hunter and the hunted can be as thin as the moon's crescent in the night sky. There are instances of poachers who shared similar fate as David at the hands of the very creatures they sought to hunt. Many poachers have lost their lives through encounters with animals such as elephants, buffaloes, rhinos, alligators, and many others. It's hard not to admire nature when it fights back against its oppressors, especially when it comes to big game hunting and how it's destroying the ecosystem. So, as the sun rises over the Umbabat game reserve, the echoes of that terrifying scream still linger. It's a reminder of the thin line between the hunter and the hunted, a line that can blur and shift in a heartbeat. It's also a lesson about the dangers of poaching, the repercussions of stepping into the untamed power of nature, and the consequences of disrupting it. It is never a cause for celebration when another human being dies. However, a prevailing sentiment among many is that when a poacher meets their end at the hands of the very animal they were pursuing, the irony becomes nearly impossible to overlook. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.